South Africa has the potential to provide a bright future to every person willing to work hard for it. However, poverty and unemployment pose huge obstacles to unleashing this potential. The only sustainable way to meet these challenges is to strengthen property rights. History has shown that the best way to free people from the swamp of poverty is to provide and protect each individual's right to own property. But what exactly do we mean by property rights? Well, to put it simply, property rights include the right of the individual to own, trade, or alienate resources at will without fear of aggression. The human right to life and freedom implies that we have the right to make our own decisions. Our human rights are inalienable, and in an economic context, human rights translate into property rights. Economic prosperity requires respect for property rights. Property rights ensure that individuals can trade goods and services, that entrepreneurs can start businesses and create jobs, that foreign investment can take place, and that even the poorest have the opportunity to break free from the bondage of poverty. Without property rights, a state will fail. Entrepreneurs leave, trade declines, the standard of living drops, infrastructure collapses, and poverty escalates. Where property rights are violated, communities are oppressed and people's human rights are trampled upon. Without property rights, a country is exposed to social instability and eventual dictatorship by the political elite. In order to respond to South Africa's economic challenges, property rights must be strengthened. The question is, how safe are property rights in South Africa? Throughout our history, communities vied for land, resources, and associated rights. In '94, South Africa entered a new era, an era that promised to unlock the economic potential of our country. Today, however, South Africa is at an economic crossroads. Until recently, it was easy to brush aside attacks on property rights as mere political rhetoric. This rhetoric has now evolved into numerous policy documents, bills, and verdicts aimed at limiting the security of property rights. The assertion by the state that these measures are simply a means to bring about restitution for the disadvantaged is false. Read the policy, legislation, and verdicts. If government succeeds, the legal precedent has been set to deprive every South African from his or her right to own property. The danger of these envisioned policies is that they allow the state to first restrict your property rights and then to deprive you of your property. This approach is slower and more cunning than the Zimbabwean method, but it can be as catastrophic. The threat to individual property rights is an issue which will impact on every South African. Your house, business, shares and savings, everything can be targeted. When someone takes your property without your permission or without offering compensation, it is regarded as theft. But what if the state is the culprit? South Africa is at an economic crossroads, and it is the duty of the business community to ensure that the right choices are made to preserve property rights. Stand together and join with AfriBusiness's campaign to protect property rights.